Hey everyone, it's Graham from therecordingrevolution.com. Got a video for you on how to get more punch and impact out of some sampled drums. So if you're layering any sampled kicks, snares, percussion loops, if you play anything on triggering off a keyboard, or even if you're playing it on a virtual drum kit or like a Roland V kit or something like that, if you need more punch out of your kick and snare, because I know those samples are perfect and sometimes they don't have a wide range of dynamics, they kind of just, they sound clean and good, but they don't punch through and really crush through sometimes like acoustic drums can. If you're looking for a little bit more punch, we're going to use an old trick of parallel processing to get more power out of the kick and the snare specifically, and I'll show you how I was doing it on a track recently. It's a little bit differently than how I approach maybe acoustic drums with parallel compression, but the concept is exactly the same behind the scenes. So here are some sample drums just kind of balanced with their faders by themselves. All right, we have two kick drums. Right, that's the sampled acoustic kick, and then we have an electric kick. They sound good. We have three snare tracks. We have sort of the acoustic snare, a nice room sound, and the two electric snares. Right, and together they have a pretty cool sound, the two kicks and the three snares. They sound cool, plenty of power. But in the mix is really where I was noticing it losing some of that power. So take a listen here, unmute everything, and we'll take a listen to the kick and the snare in the mix.
I don't have to know where I'm going now, following the road, wherever you're bound, all I need is you.
Right, so it sounds fine, you just don't feel enough kick and snare. You just don't feel enough kick and snare. So that's the problem, and that's why parallel compression is very helpful in any kind of mixing situation. And today we're going to use it on sampled kick and snare. So what I've got here, I'll show you how I've already routed this up. I have two parallel channels. So I've created two auxiliary tracks in Pro Tools. These could be buses, these could be group tracks, however your DAW labels them. One's called kick comp for kick compression. This isn't an audio track, there's no audio on it. If you zoom in, it just has a volume fader. And so I've taken both kick drums and I've used a pre-fader send to send a copy of both kick drums over to this track, the kick comp, which then dumps out to my master fader. So that means I can listen to this track by itself even with these tracks muted and hear the kick coming through. And that's just a blend of both kick drums, right? So then what we did was simple heavy compression on that track. So here is the 1176, the Bluey, and I just got a 12-to-1 ratio, right? Really slow attack, really fast release on this kick drum just to give a lot of thwack. It does two things. It gives more beater attack, so it smacks harder, and then it brings up that room sound that's on the sample of the acoustic drum, so it gets a little bit more roomy, and that's rock and roll. So I have a very, very heavily compressed kick drum sound now on its own fader, and you notice I've already pulled the fader way down, like -13. And so what that does is that allows me to bring in more power and punch and weight on the kick drum and blend it in with the samples already. I'm not actually compressing the samples, I'm blending it in with the uncompressed samples. So I will take it away after I press play, and you can hear sort of the power disappear. Right, more weight, more power, more punch. We did the exact same thing on the snares. All three snares again by themselves sound like this. They sound fine, they just don't feel fine, right? Just like at a rock show or a live venue, you see the band playing, you want to hear the drums, but you also want to feel the drums, and that's what we're talking about right here, is the feeling part. So I have, again, pre-fader sends, kind of matching the volume balance that I have of the snares here, sending to another track, the snare compression track, and this is very similar. I have the same compressor, identical settings on the snare. So listen to the snares by themselves, and then I'll bring in the compression. More attack, more aggression. And then just like with the kick drums, I've blended them, that compressed sound on its own fader now. I blended it in with the original 3 snares. So you obviously get more volume because now we have more snares on their own track, but it's also that aggressive compression that's mixing in with the already clean samples. So what does this do in the mix? Because that's what really matters. Well, if I take these 2 tracks, let's see, and I group them together so that I can control them on their own fader, let me bring in the rest of the band. And what I'm going to do is, as this hook is playing, I'm going to allow you to hear the drums the way they were without our parallel channels. And then I'm just going to unmute these compressed channels. And so what you're going to listen for is the kick and the snare changing. And you're going to hear the same kick and snare, but now you should be able to feel more power and more weight. Let's take a listen.
I don't have to know where I'm going now. Following the road, rubbery bound. All I need is you. Where I'm going now. All I need is you. Rubbery
Huge difference. It makes the drums seem like they're way, way louder and way more aggressive and way punchier, but they're really not that much louder. We've just introduced some heavy compression and blended it in nicely. It's just a good trick to get those kicks and those snares and those sample drums to really pop out of your mix. Hope that helps. Again, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com. Have a great Thanksgiving, guys, if you're watching this on Thanksgiving weekend. Otherwise, if this is the future, then hope your regular day is going smashingly. Subscribe to the videos if you like them. I hope to see you on another video soon. Take care.